And that is the problem for this part of the coastline. The birds come here during the low tide to feed, and now with the microloads coming, they get disturbed, they get not enough food, their protein intake is too low for the day, and over long periods of time they will lose conditions because they just simply don't feed enough. And that's the same problem with the Damara tern in the desert part, where the quad bikes in particular disturb the birds around that area. There's a Damara tern out there fishing. You can see they hover and flat into the water. And they would be picking up small fish. More small fish than, for instance, the common and Arctic terns that feed more on krill. And they would pick up the fish from here and then fly over the first row of dunes to feed their chicks.
In 1996, the Damara tern along Namibia's coastline was threatened with extinction. An estimated 2,000 to 4,000 were left. The Damara tern was put on the red list. Concerned about the situation, the Namibian Ministry of Environment and Tourism started a 6-year inventory. The actual number of Damara terns turned out to be higher than previously thought. The revised estimate came to some 13,000, with 98% of them nesting along Namibia's coastline. The Damara tern could be removed from the red list, but was still a nearly threatened species needing protection.
This is a typical Damara tern breeding site. The egg is deposited on the ground. They don't actually have a nest scraping at all. And unfortunately, this is a popular recreational area, which means quad bikes, motorbikes, cars driving through the dunes, and unfortunately by doing that, destroying the nest and killing the chicks when they drive through this area. The whole idea is to try and keep people actually out of these, what we call gravel plains or interdunal plains, because that is the breeding ground from the Damara tern.
Quickly around.
By catching nesting birds with ingenious nets and ringing them, the ministry now keeps a close watch on the situation. In 1995, an unprotected colony of Damara terns was disturbed 870 times in 1 month by passing cars. As a consequence, their breeding had a low rate of success. In the protected areas, the birds' nesting places are now carefully located with GPS in order to know where and under what conditions they are breeding. And the young birds are caught and ringed to measure the success rate of their parents' breeding. Undisturbed, it rose to 80%. Despite these efforts, the Damara terns are still under a lot of pressure. Recently, part of the protective fence was deliberately driven over. And economic developments, like the expansion of harbour activities and the growing number of tourists that visit the area, continue to exert pressure on their breeding grounds. The situation of the Damara tern is not unique within the AEWA region, and mediation by the AEWA could be of great help.